Good. Very nice. Did you all fill the thing I asked you? Okay, let's begin with the prayers first. We'll chant. Who knows all the 6 prayers? So what are the 6 prayers we have learned so far? Who knows all the 6 prayers we have learned so far? We learned 6 or more? 7. Right? But where I wrote those numbers. Okay, I'll write again and maybe we'll have a kind of a Word document where we can put all these prayers and we'll keep building. Maybe Moksha Mataji can help to build a Google document where we'll keep adding to this list. The Gurve Gaurachandraya, right? Then the next is the Namo Vishnupadaya, Shri Prabhupada Pranati, right? Then we have the Krishnaya Vasudevaya, right? Then we have the Nama Pankajanabhaya, right? From Queen Kunti's prayers. We also have the Ekashloki Ramayana, right? And number 6, we have the prayers to Narasimhadev, right? 5:18:8. And number 7, we learned the 5:18:9. I asked you for those who haven't. So who will do 1? Who wants to do number 1? Gurve Chandrai. Okay, Lakshya will do. Okay, Namo Shri Prabhupada Pranati. Who knows? Okay, Raina Mataji will do. Krishnaya Vasudevaya. Okay, Vedi will do. Nama Pankajnabhaya. Okay, Avni will do. Ekashloki Ramayana. Okay, Hilli will do. Narasimha Pranam. Who hasn't got chance yet? Number 6, Narasimha Pranam. Who knows? Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya. Okay, now we will do. Number 7, did anyone learn? Swasti Astu Vishwasya. Okay, let's do these 6 first and then we'll get going further. And then some of your videos are not on. I request you to please kindly keep your videos on for this class. That's the Zoom etiquette we have. Okay. Yes, let's start. Who was number 1? Gurve Gaurachandra.
Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha.
Yeah, keep going your order. You have to remember. Who was number 2? Radesh, it was you? Who was number 2? Shri Prabhupada Pranati.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Śrīmati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachadine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatayane.
Very good. Number 3. Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Namaha Pankajnabhaya, Namaha Pankajmarine, Namaha Pankajnetraya, Namaste Pankajnabhaya.
Very nice. Ekashloki Ramayana. Who was speaking Ekashloki? Kelly?
Tado Rama Tapo Tanadi Tanam Tattam Megam Kanchanam Vaidehi Haranam Jetayu Maranam Sugriva Sambhashanam Bali Vigrahanam Samudra Taranam Lanka Puri Dahanam Paschadavan Kumbhakaran Hananam Etadi Ramayanam.
Very good. Thank you. Yes, and the Narasimha Pranam.
Om Namo Bhagvate Narasimhaya. Namo Tejas Tejase Avirbhava Virginaka Virgidamstra Karma Shriyana Rande Rande Tamo Gasa Gasa Om Swaha Abhyam Abhyam Atmani Bhuvishtam Om Shram.
Very good. And who will share the Swasti Astu Vishwasya? Anyone has learned that one? Okay, let's try to do that together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Swasti. Swasti is basically means auspiciousness. Shivam, Swasti Astu. Swast, in Hindi or with the swast, swasthya, swasti means auspicious or benefit. Mangala. Another word is mangal, auspicious. Swasti astu vishwasya. Vishwa means this world, right? May this whole world be auspicious. A devotee like Prahlad Maharaj never asks for wrong or evil of anyone, right? He's not saying may the world die or may the world go to hell, but some people say like that. So khalaha prasiditam. Prasid is be pacified of what? Of their envious mentality. May everyone be auspicious and may everyone be pacified. What is this formula for everyone to be pacified? When we do dhyayantu bhutani shivam mito dhiya. When we remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dhyayantu bhutani. So may there be good fortune throughout the universe. May all the envious people be pacified. May everyone, all living entities, bhutani means living entities, become calm. And how will they become calm? By practicing bhakti yoga or by accepting devotional service. Because then only we will think of each other's welfare. A devotee thinks of others' welfare. Can anyone tell an example where a devotee thought of someone's welfare? Any story coming to your mind? Any pastime where a devotee thought of someone's welfare? Could not see.
Yes, King Satyavrata of the Matsya Avatar.
Yes, King Satyavrata. The fish asked for help and the devotee could not see the fish in suffering. Yes, anyone else wants to share something? You can raise your hand. So let me see who all want to say something. Yes, Sampada Mataji.
Brahmaji and then Prahlad Maharaj for Bali Maharaj when he was arrested by the Lord.
Yes, that's also a very good example. There are so many such examples. Narad Muni and Mrigari story, right? When Mrigari the hunter was trying to kill the animals, Narad Muni could not see that this person will have to go to hell for killing innocent animals. So this should be our mood also. What? To think of everyone's welfare. And how will that happen? By taking shelter of Adhokshaje. Who knows the meaning of Adhokshaje? Anyone knows? Adhokshaje refers to Supreme Lord. That means one who cannot be known by the senses. Adhokshaja. Can we know Krishna through our senses? No. Why can't we understand? Okay, let's talk about this. People, sometimes someone may ask, can you see God? Right? Has someone asked you, can you see God? If God is there, why God doesn't come in front of us? Right? Has someone asked you this question before or at any point? Or does this question bother you? Can we perceive God through our senses? Yes. How many of you say yes? We can, feel God through our senses. Okay. How many of you say no, we can't feel God through our senses? Okay. Now you answers. Who will answer why we can't feel God through our senses? Why we can't perceive God through? Okay, Lakshya and then Kṛṣṇa.
The senses are materialistic and Krishna is spiritual.
Very good. Okay, that's a good response. Thank you. Yes, Kṛṣṇa.
It's a little different than Lakshya. So it's kind of same, like similar. Yeah, because our senses, this body is material, and the senses are like the senses. They're materialistic. Everything in this world is material because this is the material planet. So that's why we can feel Krishna through our senses. It's kind of same.
Okay, very good. Yes, Mahima.
Because most times we use our senses to please us, but in like Krishna conscious, we need to like try to please Krishna, not ourselves.
Very good. Very good. All these are correct responses. Okay, what tool we use to measure distance? Do we use some tool? Right? Who will tell? Do we use what tool or instrument we use to measure distances, Raina?
Tape measures and rulers.
Ruler, yeah, inch tape, right? Something like that, scale. What tool or instrument we use to measure weight? Use some tool or instrument? Have you weighed yourself ever? Right? It's okay, where they tell?
You use like a weighing scale.
Yeah, weighing scale, very good. Have you done experiments in, acidity and litmus paper also? Have you done, any one of you? Litmus paper, red, yellow, blue, and all that colors changing? Not yet? Okay, maybe I'll do later. So the point is that all these are different units, distance, weight. Have you used thermometer ever? Thermometer to measure temperature, right? Can we use a ruler to measure temperature? Yes or no? No. Can we use a weighing scale to measure distance? We can't use, right? So even the material, these are our material things, right? For example, I have to measure the distance, the length of this pen, the weight of this pen. I need different tools. I can't use the same tool. To even measure material units, I need different instruments, correct? You all understanding this point, right? Now, how can we use our material senses to understand or to conceive of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is completely Satchidananda, completely spiritual, correct? Is it clear? So we cannot use, but great pure souls, they can see Krishna face to face. Why? Who will tell that? Why? Yes, Sampada, and then Moksha Mataji. Yes, Sampada Mataji, you want to share?
Yes, Prabhuji, because they're already advanced in their spiritual level and they are very devotional. Yeah.
Yes, yes, Moksha Mataji.
The answer of Sambhada Mata is absolutely correct. And also, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, verse number 54, Shri Krishna says that yes, you can see me, but with the spiritual eyes. So, there's one pastime also of Srila Prabhupada that one person asked him that, can you see God? So, he said that, yes, I can see, and I can show it to you also if you want to see. So, he said that, drink the water. So he had that, and then he asked that, did you see God in that? Did you see Krishna in that? So he said no. So he said, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that rasoham apsyu konteya, means I am in water. If you can't see me in water, then why will I come to show you my form? So a person like Maharaj, who can see Krishna in everything, Krishna actually appears also in front of them only. So Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Very good. So in short, their senses are not material. Their senses are free from the coverings. Why can't we see God? Because we are covered with dust of material lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, materialism in short. But a pure soul, we also discussed the story of just recently, Ustad Bismillah Khan, right? How Krishna came to play the flute in the morning, those who come for the Japak hall. He shared that story, right? You remember? And then he shared, and then there's so many stories. So this is now your homework also. Next time what will happen, you will be going to different Zoom rooms and you have to present your story to your Zoom room break room members. Okay, so all of you have to share or prepare one story. Okay, write it down, one story. It could be different stories where a devotee personally interacted with the Lord. Okay, where a devotee personally interacted with the Lord. Like I'm sharing some example, like Sakshi Gopal, right? You may have known, like Kirchor Gopinath, like the Lord stole, where the sweet rice for the devotee, like Tota Gopinath, where the Lord sat down for Gadadhar Pandit. In Srila Prabhupada's pastime also, I shared the story of the flutist, and even in the life of Bilva Mangal Thakur. So there are multiple devotees, and so prepare a story and you'll share with the Zoom break room members, okay? Is everyone clear what the task is? Good, any questions there? Okay, so everyone must prepare that for next week, okay, next Sunday, and remind me, we will go to Zoom rooms of 2 or 3 devotees. It has to be short. You can write in your notes or you can make 1 or 2 slides, that's whatever way you prefer, but you should be able to share that story, okay? So this is what we are talking about, adhokshaji. They can directly perceive through purified senses, not through impure senses. So when the senses are pure, then yes, we can perceive the Lord. And how will they become pure? By bhajana, bhajatad adhokshaji, by chanting the holy name, by purifying our mind and senses. Aveshitam no matir api ahetuki. Matir means consciousness or intelligence. Ahetuki means without any motive. Okay? So, O Lord Krishna, may everyone be absorbed in the thoughts of him. And then everyone will be pacified, everyone will think of others' welfare, everyone will be non-envious, and there'll be good fortune throughout the world. If everyone is Krishna conscious, right? Just imagine, there won't be any problems. All the problems, whether you call food shortage or financial problems, economic problems, pollution problems, all the problems will be solved. Because what is the root of all problems? Lack of Krishna consciousness. Do you agree with that? Or how many want to challenge that? That doesn't sound right. How will we solve the pollution problem by being Krishna conscious? If someone asks you this question, how can we solve the pollution problem with Krishna consciousness? Let's take some thoughts there. Yes, Vedi. And then Prapti.
Well, I mean, you won't go around throwing your trash outside when there are trash cans or recycling, and that's one way. And most people do it, but like even like especially devotees, because it's Mother Earth, it's like a mother. No, you don't want to like make Mother Nature like trashy.
Very good. We'll be more careful because it's Mother Earth. A devotee realizes that. Very good. Yes, Prapti.
I was gonna also say about the littering thing, like people litter because they're like selfish or like they just don't care about anyone else but themselves and like to their convenience. So like not being selfish is kind of like a characteristic of being Krishna conscious. So if you're being Krishna conscious, then you want to be like pure and like help everyone and everything around you.
Yes, that's a very good point. People will be selfless instead of being selfish. Yes, Radesh.
It's like Krishna consciousness, like you believe that to like look everybody with like equal level. So then like equality would be better and everything.
Say that again. I missed that point.
So in Krishna consciousness, you need to look everybody with like equal level.
Equal level, okay.
And like, so then like rights and everything would be a lot better. And then like, there wouldn't be any like as many fights and stuff. And you would like, more people would respect each other.
Very good. That's also so true. One great person said that there is enough for everyone's need, but not enough for one man's greed, right? Why are there so many problems? Because of the greed, because of the envy. The internal pollution, right? If the internal pollution is cleansed, the outside pollution will naturally be gone. You agree with that? There are more problems because of the internal pollution. And what do I mean by internal pollution? Everyone is understanding that point? Or greedy mentality, selfish mentality, to enjoy seeing the suffering of others, right? Most people enjoy that. Let me show you a story, and then we'll come to Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 6 will complete, and because we're talking about mind control also, in chapter 6 is Dhyana Yoga, and then from chapter 7 onwards, Bhakti Yoga begins, right? So we have discussed chapter 6 in quite some detail, but let me share a story. Want to hear a story about mind control? Okay. A man who had left his town returned back only to find the house was on fire. It was one of the most beautiful homes in the town, and then the man loved the house the most. Many people were ready to give double price of the house, but the man never agreed to sell it for any price. Yet the very same house was burning down right before his eyes. Guess what? He was happy or sad? Happy? If you think happy, thumbs up. If you're sad, thumbs up. Okay. So you all are saying that he was sad. Okay. Thousands of people gathered, but nothing could be done. It was a very big fire. The fire had spread so far that even if it was put it out, nothing could have been saved. So he became very sad. All of you are detectives. Very good. His son came running and whispered something in his ear. Don't be worried, father. I sold it yesterday at a very good price, 3 times the market value. The offer was so good I could not wait for you. The father was out of town, so the son sold it for a very good price. And he said, forgive me. The father said, thank God it's not ours now. Now, what do you think? Happy or sad? He was happy. All of you are very good detectives. Navya is feeling that she was sad because now the house is sold. Now it's not his. So now he is happy. Then the father calmed down and became just a silent observer, right? If someone, just thinks like, oh, the car in the parking lot caught fire, a gray car, and let's say you or your family happen to have the gray car, and then you'll, oh, maybe it was my family's car. You'll run there, and then the moment you realize, oh, it's not the gray car which we own, it's someone else's gray car, and you are just an observer. Okay, someone's car burned down, right? Is that the general thing, or am I false here? Is that correct? You all agree with that? Okay, you all agree. So he was just like an observer. Many people were observing the fire. Okay. Please think about it. Just for a moment ago, he was not an observer, right? He was attached. It is the same house, the same fire, right? The house didn't change. The fire didn't change. Everything is same. Yet now he is not concerned. In fact, he started enjoying seeing the house on burning fire just as everyone else did. Then the second son came, running and said to the father, What are you doing? You were smiling while the house is on fire. The father said, don't you know? Your brother sold it yesterday. He said, yeah, the brother sold. We have only taken a very insignificant, it's called the earnest money, token amount that we will sell. It's called the earnest money, token advance amount, not the full amount. Now I doubt that the buyer will give us any money because the house is ashes. Again, everything changed. Now guess what? He was happy or sad? He was sad, right? So tears which had disappeared came back to the father's eyes. His smile was no more. His heart began to beat fast. The observer disappeared and he again became attached. Finally, the third and the last son came forward. He said, that man is a man of his word. I just met him. He said, it does not matter whether the house is burnt or not. It is mine and I'm going to pay you the full amount. Guess what? Now he's happy or sad? He's happy again. Neither you nor I knew that the house would caught fire. Again, the joy came back and the family became observer. The attachment was no longer there. Actually, nothing is changing. Just this feeling that I am the owner or I am not the owner of the house makes the whole difference. It is simply the nature of the mind. You have nothing to do with it. Everything starts with a thought. We are a product of our thoughts, right? Correct? Watch your food, because the food leads to thoughts. Watch your thoughts, because thoughts lead to action. Watch your actions, because actions become habit. Watch your habits, because habits build character, right? So from food, thoughts, our environment, our association, our habits, all these are very closely linked. A saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. We suffer because of wrong thoughts resulting from lack of true knowledge. Bhagavad Gita teaches us that knowledge, we are not this body but the spirit soul. The soul is Satchid Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. Knowledge of the soul makes one a detached observer of this changing world, helping him to remain equipoised and undisturbed. A devotee of God understands life to be just a play of sand castle by children. Being attached to material things is like being attached to the sand castle, which will be washed away with the waves of ocean. So the cultivation of detachment from perishable things of this world and developing attachment to the Supreme God, Kṛṣṇa, is the only way to avoid lamentation and sadness. That's what Kṛṣṇa told. We discussed this last time, right? Practice and detachment. Remember 6.35? Did we cover that? That's in one of the sessions. That it's difficult to overcome the wind, to the mind in the wind, right? Arjuna said, and then Kṛṣṇa replied that the formula is practice and detachment with the right knowledge. Cultivation of detachment from young age helps us to remain undisturbed no matter what high or lows throws at us. Did you like this story? Let's take some reflections from this story. Anyone wants to share some thoughts from the story or this episode? Yes, Vedi.
Don't be attached. And in the end, when you die, it's not going to be there with you.
Good. That's a good point. What is Kṛṣṇa doing? Om, you want to share some reflections from the story? And then Prapti will come to you.
I missed some of that because my iPad was dying, so I had to go get my charger.
Oh, okay. No worries. Yes, Prapti, you want to share?
I was gonna say that like in the story, like as soon as like the father realized that like it didn't have to like relate to him in any way, then he kind of became like selfish, and he's like, I'm glad that's not mine. So like he kind of had like selfish characteristics when it didn't like relate to him.
Yeah, that's basically our story, right? Right? If we would have been in that situation, most 99% of the people would have behaved similarly, right? Whether it's the home or the car or the bag, right? Or with the iPad. Someone's iPad, let's say you have an iPad, and someone's iPad caught fire. Oh, then you realize it's not my iPad, right? Then you'll be relieved. Oh, no, actually it was yours. That person was using your iPad. So it was not his iPad. Then, oh no, oh my God, why did he use my iPad without telling, right? Then again, remorseful. Oh no, actually it was not yours. It was some miscommunication. It was some other Avani, not this Avani. Right? Then we'll be again relieved. So, attachment and aversion, bhoga, tyaga. Like a pendulum, we are oscillating, but we have to become equipoised. And how will we become that? As Prahlad Maharaj is saying, by bhajatad adhokshaji, by rendering service to Krishna. So we have discussed this in chapter number 6. The acronym is EASY, right? Anyone remembers what we discussed so far in the acronym EASY? E for? Yes, Raina.
Empowerment?
Empowerment. Is enemy or friend? Enemy or friend? Did we talk about that? Not yet? We talk about that, right? Where there is giving thumbs up. Okay. The first few verses we talk about, is the mind the friend or the enemy? Right? Who will tell the verse? Some of you are giving exams tomorrow. Yes, Navya.
Bandar atmatmanastasya yenatme va atmanajita anatmanastu shatutve vartitatme vashattuvat.
Very good. 6.6 Bhagavad Gita, right? So that's in the, is mind the enemy or the friend? So who all say enemy? We discussed that. We had this whole discussion. If we control it, it's the best of the friend. If we have uncontrolled, it's the worst of the enemy. Now the choice is ours. The thing is that we cannot live without the mind, right? If someone is like has a bad friend, let's say external, XYZ person, then we can choose to avoid it or not, or be with that person, right? Let's say my friend X is bad. So I can choose to not be with my friend who has bad company. But can I choose to be away from my mind? No, right? So what does that mean? So that means we don't have the option to not have mind's association, correct? That means we will always have mind's association. Now, we only have two options. Either we make the mind our best friend or we make the mind our worst enemy, right? Is there any third option? Because we already discussed that we cannot, just keep the mind away, right? Okay. So now we learned that yes, we have to make the best friend. Of course, who wants to be with one's enemy? Because enemy will kill us, right? So the mind will kill the soul. Who will elaborate on this point, that the mind can kill the soul? Not in the literal killing, but because soul cannot be killed, but mind can kill the self. Who can elaborate on this point? Yes, Moksha Mataji.
Prabhuji, if our mind is not in control, then we will obviously not like to be in association with devotees, and to be in association of devotees and doing Shravanam and Kirtanam is food for soul. So if our soul not get food for a long time, then our soul will die. In other words, our devotional uh, our feeling doing of serving Krishna will die. So it will be our greatest of enemies.
Yes. Thank you so much. So the mind, if some wrong desire comes, the mind will say, yeah, let's do it. We will do it. And, no one is, like, there's no guard, because mind is like the mind and intelligence are the neighbor of the soul. They can either protect the soul from degradation, or they can take the soul to to uh, to hellish conditions, right? Like Ajamil, the story of Ajamil, right? Everyone has heard the story of Ajamil. Ajamil was a very saintly person, but he got into bad association, and then it led to self-destruction. So what we have to be careful of, so that we don't lead to self-destructive things? What are the things you think we should avoid in this day and age, especially? Yes, Mahima Mataji.
Like bad association.
Bad association, very good. Anyone else? Yes, Raina.
Like intoxication and just stuff that is bad for your health.
Yeah, bad food habits, right? Bad sleeping habits. TV is one of the biggest things these days. Media, social media, TV, gadgets, etc. If we are not careful, my dear friends, they will lead to ruination. You all agree with that? So whether it's our iPhone, iPad, whatever gadgets your parents have provided you, they are for a good reason, correct? They have given you these gadgets for a certain purpose, correct? For good use, correct? Similarly, God has given us this body for certain good use. If we misutilize this body, what will happen? If we misutilize this body, what will happen? Who will say? What will be the outcome if we misutilize this body? Yes, Sampada?
We will not get this human body again in the next life.
Very good. We'll go to animal life, hellish planets, etc. Correct? Similarly, if you misutilize the gadgets given by your parents, what will happen? By watching inappropriate things, or wasting time, or watching games and stuff which is not appropriate. Sometimes they may not even see, but the God is watching us, right? He has given us these eyes, or our senses, to make good use of them. Correct? You agree with that? But if we don't make proper use, in next life we will not get those faculties, our eyes, our legs, our ears. So we should make the best use of those, like all of you are doing, by reading Gita, by chanting, by helping others, by being extraordinarily good in your studies as well. So did we discuss what comes after E in the acronym EASY? Okay, we'll do it quickly. A is for Ashtanga Yoga. In the Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 summary we are doing. A is Ashtanga Yoga. Asht means 8, right? Ashtanga Yoga. Yoga means process of connecting with God. So in the Ashtanga Yoga process, which was practiced in the previous ages, there are different things like regulation, proper diet, etc. Yam, Niyam, Pranayam, Asana, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. But it's a very difficult process. It is not recommended for self-realization for this day and age, right? Kṛṣṇa is mentioning that these are different processes. Some people try to do this, but it is very, very difficult. We can do this, some people, you may have heard yoga, pranayam, etc., which we also do, but for health benefits, which is fine, to take care of the body. We are not this body, but we have to take care of the body to practice bhakti yoga. And then the S is for success and failure. Hearing about the difficult Ashtanga yoga process, raises a very new concern for Arjuna. What happens if one faithfully takes to this yogic process but later gives up? What will happen to the unsuccessful yogi? You may have this question. Okay, let's say if someone starts to practice the process of bhakti, but if one does not complete the process, correct? What will happen to such a person? Can anyone tell? Let's say someone did bhakti for a couple of years and still had a lot of attachments, but they did come and chant. Yes, Avni, what will happen to them?
In his next life, he or she might probably like get something that will might like help them go back to Krishna.
Very good, very good. And that means that they will get birth in a favorable environment. You all got birth in a favorable environment, right? You agree that your parents are supportive, they're allowing you to practice bhakti or teaching you the principles of bhakti. Everyone does not have favorable environment. You agree with that? Some people don't even have food to eat. Do you have to worry about will you get dinner tonight or will you get the morning breakfast? Did anyone of you worry about that? No, right? Your parents take care of it, right? Your parents feed you so well. Not just food, but Krishna Prasad. But there are lots and lots of millions of people and kids of your age who don't know whether they will eat the dinner tonight or eat the morning breakfast, right? So, and not just material needs, these are material needs like food, clothing, shelter. But the biggest need, you have got birth in a spiritual environment where your parents are practicing the path of bhakti to some extent or to varied extent, or they are at least supportive of you practicing. This is also a great blessing, which means all of you must have done some bhakti in your past life. If someone completes 80% in the past life, where will they start from in this life? Where will they start from? Anyone? Navya?
80% again.
80% or 81%, they'll start the next step. If someone completes 15%, where will they start from? Yes, Vinita?
15%.
16% you said?
15.
15 or 16, wherever they stop, right? Now, let's say you become a great lawyer. You get a lot of degrees or you become a great doctor, engineer. In this lifetime, you get a PhD degree, okay? And then you get a new birth. And where will you start from in the next life? Your education. Yes, Haley?
You would have to start over.
Start over from A, B, C, D, right? A for apple, B for ball, correct? So what's the difference? What's the difference here? Yes, Krishna.
So they have to take birth again and they have to repeat their pre-K kindergarten. One cannot start from high school because in the previous life he was in high school. He maybe because of some accident he maybe passed away. Like spiritually, maybe you cannot repeat it. When we go through life, it's baby, like dehinosmin yata dehi komaram yavanam jaratata dehanta praprakta dhirastatrinamohyati. The soul goes to another body, and it changes and changes. But you have to go from baby to old age to all of them. You cannot skip.
Yes. So in short, materially, we'll have to start from scratch, correct? A, B, C, D. But in spiritual journey, we don't need to start from scratch, correct? Therefore, you may see someone in their very early age, may be very advanced in their bhakti. And all of you are examples of that. And someone could be very, very old, but still be very attached to wrong things like meat eating, intoxication, watching hours and hours of TV, and having no spiritual values and stuff. Right? Why? Because they didn't practice in this life and in the previous life either. So this is the S, success or failure. Okay. In bhakti, there is only one thing. What is that? Success or failure? Yes, Rama.
Success.
Success. Very good. Why is there no failure in bhakti?
Because bhakti, bhakti is devotional service, and devotional service is the only way to get out of miseries.
Very good. Do you know a verse in Bhagavad Gita 2.40 which tells about this? That there is no loss on this path?
I need 1 minute to think.
Okay. Very good. Take your time. Who knows 2.40 verse which tells this point? Yes, Vinita?
Oh, Prabhuji, I know.
Neha Bikramo Nashosti Pratyavayona Vidyate Svyalpamapi Asya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat.
Very good. Thank you. Who will tell the paraphrase translation? Vidi?
Basically, in this, when you practice like bhakti, there's no like loss or failure. And even if you take birth again, Krishna will start, or you'll continue from where you left off. You won't have to start from beginning because it's spiritual.
Very good. Very good. So this is the last Y, E-A-S-Y. Enemy or friend is E. Ashtanga Yoga processes, which are not the recommended, but the knowledge is shared. S is success or failure. What will happen to a yogi? The Y, there is only success. Wherever the yogi stops, and from that point it will be continued. The spiritual journey, there is only forward gear. There's no reverse gear in a spiritual journey, right? There's only forward journey. There is no failure. Apparently, it may sometimes seem that a devotee is going through difficulty, right? Like Arjuna going through a difficult time, like Mata Kunti going through a difficult time, like Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj going through a difficult time. You may have heard all these stories, right? But it's not really a failure. Okay, so this is chapter number 6. That ultimately we have to follow Bhakti Yoga, which we will talk about in the following chapters. And what's the best way of following Bhakti Yoga? Chanting the holy names, reading Bhagavad Gita, keeping good association, avoiding bad association, do our duties, the spirit of detachment, with enthusiasm, with confidence, so give the offerings to the Lord, whatever grades, the best grades, the first class grades you should get, and offer them to the Lord as a because ultimately he gives the intelligence, right? This is chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga. And tomorrow is a special day, right? We are having who all are giving exams tomorrow? Okay, Moksha Mataji, Sampada, Avni, Nidhi, and Navya, right? You're ready? You're excited? Will everyone join to encourage them and to support them? Very good. And you can also ask your other friends, well-wishers, relatives, congregation members to join. It will be a nice, fun time. And then we'll have some Prabhupada's disciples as well to share some words of support and encouragement. And it'll be really wonderful. We'll have different 3 breakout rooms parallelly going on. Okay, we'll have Anyone has any questions today or tomorrow? Or for tomorrow, I mean. Yes, Avani.
So, like, do we get lifelines or something?
What lifelines?
You know, like just in case, like you have a brain malfunction or something, you know?
Yes, you'll get lifelines. Which lifeline? Una friend?
Can I have my sister as a lifeline?
Sure. So you basically will give you a lifeline called phone a friend. Okay? Then we will give you a lifeline called, what's the other lifeline here? 50-50? We'll give you two options. Right? Out of those, one would be correct answer. Okay, any other lifelines you need? So even if your sister is in another break room, if you request, Mr. Computer, please pull her in the same break room. So the coordinators will pull her in the break room where you are present, and then you can ask her the question. Does that sound good? Okay, good. Yes, Vedi.
Can you be a lifeline?
I'm the examiner. I'll be asking questions. I'll be coordinating. So I'll be coordinating on one room. My wife Manjulali Priya will be coordinating in one room, and Navya's mother Natasha Mataji will be coordinating in the other room. There'll be three rooms which we'll be coordinating. That's how we have planned this. And then and who wants to do Kirtan tomorrow? We'll start with the Kirtan. Anyone wants to do Kirtan tomorrow? Okay, Rama and Krishna want to do? You'll do together?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, sounds good. So be ready at 7 p.m. sharp, and we'll start with a 5-7 minute Kirtan, and then we'll chant some prayers. Who wants to do Mangala Charan prayers? Who wants to do Mangala Charan prayers? Avni, want to do, or Sampada? Okay, Sampada, I'll do the Mangala Charan prayers. Basically, it will be for everyone, because all of us need the blessings of the Gurus, right, to invoke auspiciousness. Yes, Sampada.
Do I do all 7 Mangalacharya prayers?
Like we're in the Bhagavad Gita class, Om Jnana Timirandasya.
Oh, okay.
And yes, you can chant these 7 also, that's fine. These are our Mangalacharan we have doing, which is absolutely fine. These are also Mangalacharan. Right? And Moksha Mataji will prepare a list of these verses in a document, which we'll keep adding. Right? These are like bonus verses. And for next week, you'll share a story of what? Who knows what story we are sharing? Raise your hand what I said in the kind of the first. Everyone knows? Rama, what are you doing? What story are we sharing? You know that? Tell me.
The story I'm sharing?
What story everyone has to prepare for next week?
I need to look in my notes.
Okay. Radhesh? Radhesh, you tell.
Stories where devotee interacts with like a form of Krishna.
Yeah, we're a devotee interacts with, very good. And I gave some examples also, okay? Will everyone prepare that? Will you feel empowered? And remind me, today we have to kind of talk about a little bit tomorrow, but next time we'll talk about your summer goals. Have all of you written? I see some of you have written your summer goals, but I must give a little feedback that it has to be, specific. You remember the SMART acronym? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. Like I'll share some examples which are good and examples which maybe need some improvement. Okay. I'll not point anyone's name. I don't want to kind of make anyone feel like that. So for example, like writing, I will try to have healthy prasadam. Now you all tell me, I'm not talking about who wrote this, okay? You all tell me, is this specific? I will try to have healthy prasada. Is this specific? Is it measurable? Is it measurable? No, it's not measurable. Is it attainable? Probably. It's hard to even measure, so we don't know if we'll attain it or not. Realistic, a time bound. Okay, what's the time? Like forever or for 2 months or, right? One more example. One more goal is Spanish. What Spanish? Will I read Spanish or learn Spanish or speak Spanish or everything in Spanish or just one word in Spanish, right? So first of all, goal should not be I will try. When a teacher gives homework to you, you say I will try to do homework. When there is an exam in the school, you'll say, oh, I'll try to show up for the exam. Do you say like that? Let not your mind weaken you. Great people, a winner wins first and enters the ring later. You remember we discussed that? A winner wins first and enters the ring later. Who will elaborate on this? Vidhi?
If the boxer or whatever says to themselves that I hope I win, I don't think I'm going to do well, then you're already not being positive about yourself. To have that positivity that you're going to win, and then everything will go from there.
So when you say I will try, does it sound like a very positive and strong statement? Very optimistic? No. You're already half of the energy is gone. Right? So don't say I will try. You don't say to your examiner that I will try to show up for the exam. Oh, I'll try to pass the school this time. Right? I will, right? Okay. I will, let me give some. I will run at least 10 rounds a day of 1 mile each. 10 rounds a day of 1 mile. That means 10 miles. Is that correct? You wrote this goal. I'm just trying to. You think you can run 10 miles a day? I mean, I'm not discouraging, but you think for yourself. Is it realistic? Okay. And then try to write for. Is it just a goal for 1 day or is it goal for the entire summer? Okay, it should be time bound also. It's measurable, it's good. You can measure it, you ran that much or not. It's specific, it's not that, okay, I'll improve my health. Is it specific? No, it's not specific. You can't measure it, you can't. I will do at least 2 Japa Mala rounds a day. It's spiritual goal. Is it measurable? Yes. Is it specific? Yes. Is it attainable? Yes. Realistic? Yes. Time bound? Yes. If you can say, okay, for the entire summer or for my entire life, and I'll increase later, but yeah, this is a good goal, right? So, okay, so I think you got the point, okay? Discuss with your parents also or someone if you're not sure, but I want you to write in a very clear frame of mind. Not I will try, not I shall, or maybe I will do this, maybe I'll improve my health, I'll work on something, I'll read a book. I'll read a book. Is it specific? What book you will read? How much time you will take? Or will you read a day, like 30 minutes a day, or one book every week or something? It should be more specific. Otherwise, I'm telling you, the time will pass, and then you will feel, okay, I tried. I read once in a week, right? Is that okay? Anyone has any questions about these goals? I would encourage you to look and maybe work on this again, okay? So we'll talk about this next time, and already your summer break has started, so you can continue to work. And then next time we'll talk about the empowerment and also talk about the story And tomorrow we'll meet for this program, the exam and the graduation ceremony for those who will be passing tomorrow. Sounds good? Everyone clear? Clear as mud?
Prabhuji,
Yes.
tomorrow I have to go to Alachva, so I cannot do kirtan, but I'll just stay muted for the entire time. I'm sorry. Tomorrow, like Mishuk is getting this thread ceremony.
So you won't be back by evening?
We'll be back by evening, but it'll take pretty long.
Okay. Okay, no worries, I understand. Will anyone else want to do kirtan tomorrow for the first 5-7 minutes? No one wants to do kirtan? Where is the enthusiasm? Okay, Mahima.
I can, Prabhuji.
Okay, good. Okay, so we'll start sharp at 7 tomorrow, okay? And please encourage everyone to come, and then all the best for all your preparation, for those who are preparing for the exam, and you'll have a nice, fun time. Bhakti is always fun, okay? See, those who are giving exams or not giving exams, it's not that I will never pressurize anyone to do, this exam is Bhakti is always like a fun. These goals are also not my goals. I'm not saying you have to put goals, right? This is for your self-improvement, your self-development. Therefore, I'm just giving the categories. I'm not saying you've put 1 or 2 or 0. You have to think. All of you are not, 2-year-old or 5-year-old. You're all, in your 10s or some of you are in your teens. So you are mature kids. You're not just like 5-year-old kids. So you are quite mature and you understand your own good, right? What you need to improve on your studies, what you need to improve on your health, what you need to improve on your food habits, sleeping habits, etc. You can put, any goal you want, but at least we should have some goals. Otherwise, we fail to plan to fail. Okay, so we'll pause here for today. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. This will be the 7th verse, okay?
Okay.
8th verse. For those who haven't learned this, you can also try to learn this, okay? Hare Krishna, I'll see you all tomorrow. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you.